Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel and welcome to the start of another football season, the 2025-26 season, and we are looking for the next few minutes at the game week 1 of what will be, I'm sure, another exciting English championship. It all starts this coming weekend across the 8th, 9th and 10th of August, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as usual, same format as last year, a game on a Friday, 12:30 kickoffs and 3 o'clock on a Saturday. There's a sneak to 5:30 one there as well on Saturday, and a game on Sunday. So across the weekend we've got Championship football coming at us. I think it's going to be an interesting league again this year. No quarter given in any of the matches. It was a great league last year. What a finale we had as well, didn't we? With the playoffs going to the last kicks and all sorts of stuff going on. Fantastic. And we go again, and I think there's some big hitters in the coming up from League One this year, and they're kind of looking to make their mark and not just make up the numbers. So we shall see. So no form to speak of, no previous results to talk about. So it's quite simple for me this week. I'm just going to go down the list and give my thoughts on what each match will provide us this coming weekend. So we start Friday night. The curtain raiser is one of the big hitters from League One last year, in fact, the champions. They were excellent, weren't they? They completely took it by storm and ran away with it, really. Birmingham City, and they are playing Ipswich Town first up. Ipswich Town, of course, coming down from the Premier League. So these two teams were 2 divisions apart last year, and now they're being thrown together in the first game of the Championship season. But Chris Davis, the Birmingham City manager, is one of my managers earmarked to be under pressure. Sounds a horrible thing to say, but I'm just going on the facts that their owners will not want to sit and watch everyone else party around them. They want to be part of that party. So Birmingham City will be looking to get off to a fast start, I think. And if they don't, I think they will be looking to perhaps change things around a little bit quite soon if it doesn't start to happen. However, that's all conjecture, and let's give Chris Davis a chance and see how he gets on. It's not Chris Davis, it's the pressure from above that I think is where it all lies. So I think this will be a tough old match though. Plenty of good football under the lights on Friday night. Neither side will want to concede defeat straight up, so I think a draw is on the cards. I think both sides would shake on a draw 8 o'clock and go down the pub or something and take the point to kick off the season. It's a tough one for Ipswich, of course, as well. And we'll see how they go. I'm going to go Birmingham City 1, Ipswich Town 1. Then, as I say, same format as last year, into the 12:30s on the Saturday. And the first 12:30 listed gives us Charlton, who also came up from the Championship, from the League One last year, through the playoffs into the Championship. And they are taking on mid-table from last year, mid-table Watford. So a nice, perhaps a one they might have cherry-picked for Charlton. A game that they see their sights on and getting some points off, I think, and get their clock ticking straight away. Tough one for Watford, but it is local. They'll have plenty of support behind them. First game always gets everybody excited, doesn't it? It's going to be very hot in the south of England this weekend, so lunchtime may be a hot time to play. But there we go. That's the nature of starting the football season in summer. But I think another tough game here. No quarter given. Who can forget Nathan Jones running up and down the Wembley touchline as Charlton went through to won the final. Marvellous scenes, brilliant enthusiasm. Not everyone's cup of tea is Nathan Jones, but his enthusiasm is second to none, is it not? So I'm going to say another one each draw. I will get off the fence in a minute. Charlton 1, Watford 1. Brings us on to one of the playoff teams that didn't go, or finished in the playoff places but didn't get through, and that's Coventry. So unlucky to lose to Sunderland in the last kick of their match and their tie. Playing Hull City, a little bit troubled Hull City. Unfortunately, they've got and the transfer embargo, so they haven't been able to do any real transfer business in the summer. So they've got to go with what they've got. Some players have left. It's all a little bit gloomy there. I've got them down to finish in the bottom 3, I think I did. I've got them to finish 22nd in my little preview that we did a few weeks ago. And I think Coventry will take this one. It'll be a chance for them to get off the mark early, get a win on the board. We know Frank Lampard really rejuvenated them at the back end of the second half of last season. So hats off to him for doing that. and I think it's going to be Coventry 2, Hull City 0. Now this next game is really interesting. Southampton against the other big hitter from League One, Wrexham. Phil Parkinson, my other manager, for being under pressure from above. They spent a lot of money in the summer, spending big, with their owners throwing the money around, Ryan Reynolds and co. Southampton will still making his managerial debut for them in the league. And I think Southampton have got to get their home record up and running quickly. They were so poor at home last year in the Premier League. That's all history now, but you've still got to get used to winning at home again. Some of the players will still be there from last year, but I think this is a tough game against Wrexham. We want to make an early mark on life in the Championship. 3 successive promotions, fantastic for them, isn't it? So we'll see where they land in the next few weeks, but I've certainly made some eye-opening signings, let's put it that way, from a money spent point of view. But I'm going to take Southampton to win this one, just. Southampton 2, Wrexham 1. That takes us on to Middlesbrough against Swansea. Middlesbrough may be my surprise choice to be in the top 2. I think they'll be second, runners up to Leicester. I think I've got Leicester down to win it this year. Not very brave, that is it, but that's what I think. So I think a bit of a more braver selection is to say Middlesbrough to finish second, with all the other big hitters and teams in there. They're playing Swansea, who sort of treaded water a bit towards the end of last season, didn't they? Always play some decent football, flirted with relegation for a while, recovered from that, and in the end of mid-table. So it's a nice start to show back up what I'm saying about Middlesbrough. They've got to put these, whether it's first game, last game, whatever they're played, you've got to make a mark against certain sides. And Middlesbrough, if they're going to make indentation at the top of the table, they've got to start beating the mid-table sides from last year. So I'm going to take Middlesbrough 3, Swansea 1. That brings us to the next 3 o'clock, in the words out in a minute, next 3 o'clock fixture, which I think is a sort of a quiet game. I don't know why I'm saying that really, but Norwich City versus Millwall, 2 established sides from last year. Mid-table they were. Norwich fell away a little bit. They changed their coach. They headhunted Liam Manning from Bristol City. Bit of a sideways move, I think that is, for him. 2 similar clubs, similar capacity ground size, fan base. Norwich have got the stronger history, I'll give them that, and it is his home side, as in hometown side. So we shall see. Good luck to him. He did well for Bristol City last year, as we all know. Probably overachieved by getting him in the playoffs, but it was a step too far, as we all know from that. Anyway, quiet game, I think, here. Don't think it'll make the headlines, but Norwich, I think, will just scrape a tight one. Norwich City 1, Millwall 0. Then we have what I think an interesting game here. Oxford United and Portsmouth. Now, if both those sides, both those managers, when the fixtures came out, were going down the fixture list and picking out 3-pointers, both of them would have picked this as a 3-pointer, I am sure. They will feel that this is a real chance to get their season off to a flyer. And Portsmouth went up there last year, having all those away defeats. Remember, they had a real succession of away defeats, and some of them were very heavy away defeats. And they went to Oxford and stopped the rot. So they've got good memories of going to Oxford from last season, and they'll need that in there. I think Portsmouth have done okay. They made some changes in the changes to the squad in the transfer market. Not too many with real championship experience, except I think it's John Swift from West Bromwich Albion, who ran out his time there and is coming down to Portsmouth. I think he's mid-30s, 35, 36 maybe. So it's a bit of an experience buy, which they need, because they've let a couple of experienced guys go, and they lost Rob Atkinson back to Bristol City, who was a major influence on them staying up as well. So they've had to do a bit of a swapping around. And I think this is a big game, as I say. Whoever loses this will be desperately disappointed, because they will see this as a chance for 3 valuable points. I'm going to take Portsmouth to nick it again. Same scoreline as last year, because I think Oxford are a team that is going to struggle this year. I personally can't see them outside the bottom 3, but for Oxford fans, I hope I'm wrong, obviously. But I've got to put someone there, haven't you, when you're doing these predictions. So it's Oxford United 1, Portsmouth 2 is my Saturday result. Brings us down to another game with two mid-table sides from last year. Queen's Park Rangers against Preston. I think both of these sides will see there's a chance here to get a few points, a couple of points, 3 points on the board early on. And I think they might both go for it. As I say, away teams they've got no baggage. You can go away from home, play relaxed football. You haven't had anything to compare it with. So I think always the first game is a dangerous game for home sides. I've always thought that, because the away sides just come and relax. First game of the season, nothing to lose, free hit. And I think that just caused a few jitters, especially with the home fans, full houses, expectations, all of that malarkey. So I think there'll be goals around in this, but I think it'll be honours even. I'm going to go Queen's Park Rangers 2, Preston North End 2. Brings us on to, on paper, looks a really dogged game straight away. Both sides were hard to beat last season. Not many goals in too many of their games, and those two teams are Stoke City and Derby. That'll probably end up being 3-3 now I've said all of that. Who knows? I think it'll be a tight game though. Stoke City will want to get underway because they struggled last year, or they struggled too much for their own liking. And Derby, in the end, escaped with John Eustace pulling them out of the mire, didn't he? Fantastic for them, but I think they'll struggle in this. I say struggle. I think they'll come second in this match. They'll be just edged out by Stoke. Home advantage going to count, because Stoke's home form over the years has been pretty good. I'm going to start Stoke City 1, Derby 0. I haven't really got a surprise yet, but I think this next fixture, I'm going to just take a punt at being perhaps a surprise scoreline. I know we can't tell because we don't know what's what yet. And it's West Bromwich Albion against Blackburn Rovers. Now, West Brom were always very hard to beat. If, once they won 1-0 up, they were usually difficult to get the goal back and get teams get back into their matches. But that was their one failing last year, I think, or in the end, that cost them dear. They did not nail down wins when they had the chance. And they conceded late goals, and unlike West Brom, to do that. I think Blackburn will go there a bit rejuvenated, and I'm going to take them to have one of these surprise away wins that I'm talking about, because West Brom's home record is usually pretty firm, but I think pretty solid. So I'm going to go here, just for trying to grab a surprise from somewhere. I've just picked on this fixture really. West Bromwich Albion 0, Blackburn Rovers 2. Then we come to the 5:30 kickoff, which extraordinarily, it's the way these fixtures are thrown up, will be Sheffield United and Bristol City's third successive, try saying that after Friday night out, third successive competitive fixture on the trot, because they had the two playoff semi-final legs at the end of last season. Here they are, pulled out the Football League computer again to play each other straight away on GameWeek 1. So Bristol City will have some baggage to get rid of in this match. 2-3-0 defeats, the record playoff defeat in the semi-final stage of 6-0 on aggregate. So they won't want to really have any memory of that. The only one you think, I suppose, we can say is they were never in the game. Well, they were in the game for the first leg, but then they had players sent off, and that's history. But so here we go again then, part 3 of this saga of Sheffield United and Bristol City. Tough one for Bristol City this. They have got their new manager, Gerhard Strauser. I'm going to say that wrong 46 times this season, I'm sure. The Austrian he is, has had a little bit of a dabble in the Championship with Barnsley. But I've got my reservations a little bit, but we shall see. I've heard him speak a few times. Not overly inspired, but who knows? It's not what I think that really matters. It's what the players take on board from his style. And I know he wants to play this high-pressing game, as they all seem to want to do these days. That's a sort of a stock phrase that gets chucked around, isn't it? Well, we shall see. So looking forward to this one. It's the televised evening game on Saturday night. I'm going to take Sheffield United to nick it. Head over heart here. Coming in, Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 1. And last but certainly not least is the game on Sunday, 4:30. They get prime time position because there's no Premier League yet. Leicester City, who are my tip to go back up as champions. I know that's not a very exciting prediction, but you've got to go where your mind takes you. And they are playing Sheffield Wednesday. Now let's spare a thought for Sheffield Wednesday. They haven't been paid, or their players and staff allegedly haven't been paid. I read it since the end of May, so that's 2 months worth of salary they haven't had. The players refused to play a friendly in the midweek, last week I think, against Burnley. Sort of saying a little bit of a protest, saying, "Come on, what's going on here?" The owner is just sort of letting things slip through his fingers at the moment, which is really sad. Positively, though, the Sheffield Wednesday fan base have really rallied round. They've sold every ticket that they had made available to them for this match. I think it's 3,270, something like that, that have all bought a ticket and will be going. And when they were buying those tickets, let's make the point, with no guarantee of a match. Sheffield Wednesday have got to display to the authorities that they can sustain their fixtures this coming season, and certainly they've got to make a claim. I presume that where we are now, I'm doing this on Wednesday evening this coming week, so we've still got a few days for it all to go wrong, but let's hope not. Let's hope we don't have any issue like that. Sheffield Wednesday, similar to Hull, no transfer activity. In fact, a lot of players have left. Barry Brennan, though, he signed a contract sort of in defiance, and good for him. Sheffield Wednesday through and through. So he's shown the way a little bit. I really hope they've got such a great history, such a great fan base, as every football club has. Any football club that is in the dire straits that Sheffield Wednesday find themselves in at the moment would be, they're not deserving of that. The fans aren't deserving of the way these clubs get managed these days. So that's enough for me on that. I just thought we need to just spare a thought for them. I think they're going to go under, but it's one of those games where they just need to go, make a presence, get on the field, get their fans behind them. There certainly will be. I'm sure the Wednesday fans will make their voices known as well towards the ownership. But I'm going to take Leicester City to get what I think will be their championship season off to the start, the championship winning season off to a start, and Leicester City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. So there we are. My thoughts for game week 1, 8th, 9th and 10th of August. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're getting very close to 1,000 subscribers. That's the key milestone for this channel. The lads behind the scenes work so hard at putting all the content and the flashy stuff that goes on the web page. Please go and visit it, and I will be back. I think next week we're back on no midweek games. It's Football League Cup, I think, in the week, so we're back for game week 2 next week. This time next week. So good luck to your teams. First up, it's always, and if you lose, don't forget you're only 3 points off the top of the table. Good luck to everybody. Stay fit, stay healthy, stay well. Enjoy, if you're in the UK, enjoy the summer that's coming back again this weekend, right in time to shine on the football season. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.